So moving on, this is sort of going back to one of the questions we had earlier in the show. We are going to look at Dreamcast games that we missed, games we wish we got to play, but we didn't get to back in the day. So if money wasn't an object, availability wasn't an object, which games would we love to be able to get on and play with, really? So who wants to go first? I'll leave that to one of you guys.
I'll let Scotty go first because I went first.
Okay. So mine are. So we're talking about things we missed. Despite the fact that I own it now, and also the microphone that you guys saw, I totally missed out on Seaman, and haha. But there's no way I could play that now as an adult with how demanding of your time that game is. It's very much a real-time virtual pet. Like, if anyone remembers the Tamagotchis, it's that, but a video game. So you have to turn on your Dreamcast and interact with your console and stuff. But it was such a batshit insane idea. Leonard Nimoy was the narrator in it. It's so crazy that I'm not even explaining how the game works, and I'm saying all this stuff. So for those that have no idea, Seaman, not that stuff, but an actual fish human. You hatch it from an egg or something, I think, and then you talk to him using the microphone, and he'll reply to you. He's a total douchebag, and interact with you and be like, "Well, that's why no one loves you," or it's really bad stuff that he'll say to you like that. But you turn the Dreamcast off, and it wouldn't even. I'd have to replace my lithium battery now that I think about it. It uses that to continue, so that when you come back, if you come back in a week, he might be dead, or he might be like, "I thought you forgot about me." I don't know what he sounds like. He doesn't sound like Eeyore, but such a crazy cool idea. Did either of you guys play that when it was relevant at all?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. No.
Oh, you did?
I was
cool.
Super. I was gonna say I was super into Seaman. I was.
There's the title.
I was so excited for it that the developer, the creator, Ute Saito, I believe his name is, had this cool kind of viral marketing blog that he ran. It was called Ute.net, I believe, or Ute something like that.
Yeah.
This was this like viral marketing website where this guy was like an archaeologist or something, and he was on the hunt for Seaman. He was trying to discover the real life Seaman, and they had all these like cool like historical photos that you could do on there, and he would create blog entries because he'd like, okay, I'm gonna go out to like somewhere in Africa, try to find. There's been reports of Seaman there, and so he'd go there, and like it was all would update in like real time, and it would all lead up to like the game's release. And so every few days would be a new blog update, and I would remember going onto the website and reading it and getting so excited about Seaman finally releasing on the Dreamcast. And I played it a lot. I really like that game, but like you, Scotty, there's no way I could go back and play all of that today. It's just one of those things that it's going to live on in my own memories, I think, forever.
Yeah,
I didn't know all about that crazy blog and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I wrote a feature on the website about it for a long time ago called like Crazy Sega Marketing or something like that they did for it.
Yeah,
right.
So check out the website and learn all about it.
Sorry. And then I'll mention this one briefly because Graham's going to go into it. Another one I missed out on, I think most of the world did, is Sega Gaga. I'll let Graham talk more about that. But the other one is Skies of Arcadia. Because I am such a big fan of Panzer Dragoon Saga, and most of the team that worked on Skies of Arcadia. I recently acquired Skies of Arcadia, but I have not. I haven't. I've maybe put an hour into it. I mean, it's JRPGs and me, man. I know that I would enjoy that, especially as soon as I got into the open area for the first time, I was like, man, this feels a lot like Panzer Dragoon, like Saga, and I didn't know that then that there was a lot of members of the team from there on this one. But yeah, those are a couple of my blind spots. I had a hard time thinking because I was like, every time I kept thinking of Saturn games that I haven't played, that are white whales for me and stuff. But those are a couple of mine for the Dreamcast that I could think of anyway.
Yeah, and as you know, I'm a massive fan of Panzer Dragoon Saga. The closest game I've played to Panzer Dragoon Saga probably is Skies of Arcadia. So
Yeah.
it's probably my second favorite RPG of all time. I love that game so much. But yeah, so games that I'm just going to try and go through these quite quickly. But Sega Gaga, that's a game that I remember vaguely hearing about it when the Dreamcast discontinued, but never got to play it. Was it a Japan only game? In my head, it was.
Yeah.
But I'm not, yeah,
it's never been officially translated.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there's a fans translation sort of happening.
It's kind of if you don't know about Sega Gaga, it was released around the time that Sega it was released after Sega had announced they're discontinuing the Dreamcast. It was released on March 29th, 2001, so a couple of months after they officially announced it. And it's a role-playing simulation style game where you actually are in control of Sega, effectively, and they're losing the whole point is Sega is losing their console market share to their rival, which is a company called Dogma in the game. But I think everyone knows it's Sony in real life. Yeah. And from everything I've read about this game, it's like loads of tongue-in-cheek stuff, like, referencing the whole console wars and stuff at the time, and like, about the PlayStation 2. And it's not like other, get like, Sim Hospital and Theme Park and stuff. It's got those elements of that kind of game into it. They've actually got sort of proper RPG style gaming and stuff, and also shoot 'em up style bits. There's like a whole actual sort of horizontal scrolling shoot 'em up section where you are like flying through space and stuff. And like one of the bosses is in my head it's a Sega Saturn or something. Like you're shooting one of the bosses with like a Saturn or Dreamcast. I can't remember which one it is now, but yeah, they've actually got like a digitized image of like the Dreamcast and whatever you're shooting, and nice. Annoyingly, I actually forgot to do research for that bit of the game, but I remember that being a massive thing. But yeah, it just sounds really bizarre, but also really awesome. And it's something I'd love to see a proper translation for. My understanding is most of it can be played in English, but there are quite a lot of segments which are in Japanese. So yeah, not completely playable for people who don't speak the language. So yeah, that's one game I'd love to play. Alien Front Online was another game that didn't actually come out over here in the PAL regions, and that was one of the games that you could use the microphone with. And yeah, I didn't really know it was a thing, and then I found out about it, and it just sounds like a really good game to play. Like I've seen some videos of people playing it. I'm like, this looks awesome. Like I wish I got to play it back in the day. I mean, nowadays if I played it, I probably think it's not that good. But I don't know.
For people that don't know, because the name doesn't sort of describes it, but it doesn't. To me, I've not played it, but the gameplay looks strikingly similar to Battle Tanks. If anyone's played that game, so which is only a good thing, in my opinion.
Cool. Yeah. One other game which I wish I played back in the day was Phantasy Star Online version 2. So Chris mentioned me and him here, and we played PSO a lot together online, but I had the version 1 version. And when version 2 came out, I vaguely remember it coming out, and I didn't care about it. For some reason, I thought, I've already got it. Why do I need this? I did not realize they added loads of extra areas, other weapons, like they upped the level cap for the players and stuff. Like it was so cool, the idea. And I've actually since got it, and I've played it offline, and the new areas are amazing. They're really cool, because my favorite area is the jungle area, the forest area in the original. But they've added other areas that are kind of like that. They're more natural beauty kind of areas, I guess, if you want to call it that. So yeah, I really wish I played it back in the day. I really wish I played it online. Sadly, I didn't, but I've got it now. So I guess I could play it online now, can't I? With the Dream Pie. Yeah.
Yep. Or Blueburst.
Or Blueburst. Yes, I could do that. But yeah, so that's me. Those are the ones I've missed out on, and yeah, wish I got to play. Yeah, Chris, I've forgotten. Chris, did you go?
I have not.
Chris, go for it.
Fine, because I don't really have a ton to say about it. But one game that I've always wanted to play, and I just never have for whatever reason, was Seventh Cross Evolution. It looks just so quirky and weird. It's one of these games where you basically have to evolve like yourself. There was a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Back on the Super Nintendo, which I loved, and apparently it's like super expensive these days. But I remember renting that, and we eventually owned it. But it gives me a lot of like EVO vibes to it. But apparently you can like after I don't know 100% about this game, but I have watched some videos about it. But it looks like you eventually have to unlock different body parts that you can then swap out to navigate over different portions or solve puzzles and things like that in the game. It looks completely crazy. You can come up with these crazy concoctions of different like combinations of like body parts and stuff. You can go from looking like somewhat human-like to all sorts of weird things. Have you ever played it, Graham?
I own it. I have it right here.
That's a Japanese box.
Okay, I have the Japanese version. And no, of course, I played it, Chris. I actually did a What Did I Just Play feature for the magazine, if you remember. Because I... Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did. That's right.
I did, yeah. So I had heard about...
Wait. The audio completely cut out. You did a what on it?
I did a What Did I Just Play feature article for the magazine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry if they didn't go through properly. I've kind of got excited and started shouting on the microphone, which probably didn't help. So I knew about this game. I knew of the name. I had no idea what it was. So that's why I kind of did it for that article, because I thought, I'll play it. Looking at the back of the box, it does, because it's in Japanese, it's hard to see on the cameras, but there's like a cool sort of robot kind of space dude in the back and stuff. So I had no idea what to expect. For some reason, I thought it might be a shooter, kind of like, shoot 'em up game. But yeah, Chris, you sort of nailed it on the head. It's kind of like I think one game to compare it to is Spore on PC. Oh. You start off as like this little amoeba blob type thing, and then you basically suck up like algae and stuff in the water, and then you start to grow and turn into like a fish, and then you basically, the whole point is you're evolving and you get new abilities, but you don't just turn into like a fish and then turn into something else. You turn into something else by getting new limbs and body parts and stuff, so you can get some really crazy sort of amalgamations. And I wish if you're able to go back and read the issue that I talked about, I can't remember which issue it is, but I actually have a screenshot of one of the crazy things that I turned into. And there's a few levels. It's basically split up into levels, and at the end of each level there is a boss battle. And it's just a really weird game. And effectively you start off like quite low down, like on like a little planet, and then I never finished it. My understanding is you do actually go to space or near space or something. Like you really do evolve into like a more powerful creature. So
I think there's multiple endings, because I just saw one ending where the guy evolved and he had a woman with him into humans, but they looked kind of like cavemen. He had a fist fight 3 kangaroos, and then had to fight a woolly mammoth. He killed the woolly mammoth and the 3 kangaroos, and he beat the game. And the ending was them cooking 2 like I guess woolly mammoth legs in a fire, and then just like hugging next to each other, and that's how the game ended.
Wow. Just another day.
That's yeah, it's a really fun game though. Like, even the Japanese, once you the Japanese version, a lot of the menus are actually in English, but there's some Japanese stuff in there. But yeah, it's easy to find a guide online to tell you what you're doing and stuff. But yeah, really good game, really accessible. If you can get the American version, do. If not, Japanese version is a bit cheaper, I think. So yeah, check it out.